Hey guys, it's Liz, and I'm here with a new project to share with you all. This time I decided to create something to display pictures. As you can see, I'm always looking for new ways to, display pictures of my kids. One day I hope to have a scrap room, and I want as many pictures, on projects as possible hanging on my walls. So what I did is this weekend I'm cleaning out Kayla's, toy box, and I came across a very old, very ugly looking clipboard. And normally, I would throw it away. It was just completely disgusting. But isn't it cool that now we can look at something ugly that we normally would throw away and decide to alter it and make it pretty? That's what I decided to do. So I'm going to have pictures of the before on my Facebook page so you guys can take a look and see the transformation. But I'm so happy with the way the clipboard turned out. It came out really, really pretty. I was going for a very shabby, soft, very girly feel. The pictures that I used are of my older daughter, Kiani, who is 14, and she's so much a girly girl. Loves, beautiful flowers and just soft, pretty colors. And I thought this would be perfect to display some of her pictures. So again, I just started off with a very old clipboard, the MDF, I believe it's what it is. And let me put this down real quick so I can bring it closer and show you. Sorry I have to hold it kind of weird. My tripod isn't working. So, but anyways, guys, that's my project right here. And let me just kind of show you real quick on the sides what I did to it. Basically, I just used this really pretty bling. That mesh bling. This one's in silver. I used it all around the clipboard, just on the edges. What I wanted to do is, I definitely knew I wanted to do a crackle finish. I just love the way the crackle looks on, your projects. Let me get back a little. Oops, sorry. Alright, so that's what I started off. This clipboard was full of marks. Kayla had drawn all over the thing, so it was just in really, really bad condition. So I gave it 2 coats of gesso to cover up a lot of the marker and the pen and all that stuff that she did to it. And then I went ahead and painted a very light pink color, very soft pink. I think it's called Light Pink by Craftsmart, which is available at Michael's. And then I used the Elmer's glue technique to create these beautiful crackles. Let me show you. See them up there? Of course, most of it gets covered up, with the paper. Oops, sorry about the glare. Most of it gets covered up with the papers and all the embellishments that I used, but you can still see some of the crackle. See? Pretty cool. And, you apply the Elmer's glue, and you don't let it dry all the way. You just let it get a little tacky, and then you apply the top coat, which in this case was Warm White by Folk Art. And I just love using the warm white. It gives it such a vintage look. So I used my heat tool to help it, speed along the drying process. Let me show you the back, because on the back you can see the crackles a lot better. The cracks, I should say. I didn't do anything to the back, but I just simply painted it. So there you can see all the beautiful cracks. Aren't they gorgeous? I love them. I love these big cracks. And so once it dried, I used vintage photo ink, and then I just kind of lightly, I guess, dabbed my sponge applicator all over to give it that aged look. It looks really cool. And I did that to all the edges as well. And on the front part, in the corners, I took some snow text. Let me show you. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. But I did that on all the edges on the front, specifically on the corner parts. I wanted just a little more texture. Hopefully you guys are able to see it. And then, once I dried, I went ahead and used the vintage photo on top of that as well. And it just kind of gives it like a little grainy look. And like I said, I did it on all the corners, so you can see some over here. Very cool. I just wanted a little more texture. And then the paper collection that I used is by Melissa Francis. And I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it. I bought this paper at Scrap Show here in Houston, and at the Melissa Francis booth they were selling like these big bags of assorted Melissa Francis papers. It was an awesome deal. I think you got like 50 papers for like $4 or something like that. So it came in that pack. So I'm sorry if I don't have the the name. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful paper. It's got some gorgeous vintage images, and of course the colors were just perfect for what, the vintage shabby look I was going for. Absolutely beautiful. And basically what I did is I took one of the pieces of patterned paper, I cut it down to size, I distressed the edges real good, applied vintage photo, I wet my fingertips and I crinkled some of the edges. Here you can see some of the crinkling and the distressing. It looks really cool. And I adhered my paper to the clipboard using hot glue. I didn't Mod Podge it because I didn't want it to be completely flat. So in some areas, like in the corner parts, is where I use the hot glue to adhere it onto the clipboard. And over here in this corner, I left this corner, hopefully you guys can see that, there we go. I rolled it up a little bit because I wanted to have this beautiful applique showing down here. And this applique was given to me by Bonnie. Thank you so much, Bonnie. It is so beautiful, and it went really well with the clipboard that I'm altering. It just looks really, really amazing here in the corner. And you can see some of the pearls poking out. It's such a beautiful applique, so pretty. And I tucked that underneath here, and that's why I wanted this to roll up so you guys could see it a little bit better. But it came out amazing, so beautiful. And then, let me see, I guess I'll start over here at the top and then move our way down. So much to see. And I knew I wanted to create some sort of, almost like a layout on the clipboard. I love using different ways to display pictures. And what I did here is I just adhered little strips of the patterned paper. I cut down the little strips down to size, and I distressed them with vintage photo, my distress tool, and then I kind of glued them on there. And then here I made like a little banner using some music sheet paper. And then again, all the edges are distressed with vintage photo. And so I have like a bunch of little strips of paper here. And then I have, let me see, let me move this back a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay. The photos give such a glare, that's why I'm holding it at an angle. I hope you guys don't mind. And what I did over here, I just took another piece of the patterned paper, I cut that down. This is just like basically a big rectangle. And then on top of that, I layered another piece of patterned paper. And this one, what I did is I just took an EK Success punch and I punched along the edges. And of course, you know, because it is just a border punch, my corners didn't come out so good, but I kind of like that because it kind of gives it like an imperfect feel, and that's fine. So I layered that on top of that, and then here's another piece of patterned paper over here. And then my two photos are just wallet size photos I printed out. And I adhered them to some more patterned paper, and they're the exact same photo, and I kind of like that look, so I just have them one next to the other. Really pretty. And then over here in the corner, I just have one of the little Prima resin corner pieces that I adhered over here in the corner. And let's see, oops, so much glare. So sorry about that. And then up here, I just have like this really, really pretty cluster. I wanted to have these little angels. This is a little angel from my stash. And I just inked the edges, well, not the edges, but, you know, the tops of him to pick up on some of the details with some vintage photo. Hope you guys can see that. There we go. And then I've got lots of gorgeous flowers. These are I Am Roses. These were already pink, and I just used Snow Text right on top of the petals to kind of give it a more, I guess, like a shabby look. So I did that there. And then here's a little white one from my stash. These blue ones are little carnations that I bought here at a local shop. And they were white, and I used the Tim Holtz Distress Stains in Broken China. And it was such a beautiful color. So I basically painted those with a little itty bitty paintbrush, and then I used Snow Text on top of that to give them a more shabby look. Here I've got some little leaves from a Spellbinder's die, and I just used green cardstock to cut those out. I inked all the little leaves with vintage photo to pick up on the details, and I kind of bent the tips just a little bit to give it a more realistic look. So I've got some little leaves kind of tucked in here and there. Here I've got a little Prima clock that I tucked in between the flowers, and it's got the little hands on it, really pretty. And then here I have some more flowers. This is an I Am Roses flower. It was already brown, just kind of added some Snow Text to the top of it. This one's for my stash. It was white, and I used Lindy Stamp King and Clamp Bake Beige to color that up. And it was just a really beautiful color that went really well with the papers. Again, here's another white one for my stash. Some more little Spellbinders leaves throughout. Over here I've got this cute little key. This key was given to me by Barb. Thank you so much, Barb. And it's just a shiny silver key, and I used the warm white acrylic paint on top of it to, you know, basically give it a more vintage look. I just painted the paint. I added the paint to the key, and I rubbed some of it off with my finger. So you can still see some of the silver, but it just looks a little bit more vintage. Here I have just another flower painted with the broken china distress stains. Okay, and then let me see here. Again, I'm sorry about the glare. I'm trying to hold it at an angle so you guys aren't blinded. Here I've got just a little piece of a doily that I tucked underneath the pictures, and then I have these two pretty little iridescent pearl strands. I just kind of have them going from one side to the next to the other. Really pretty. Here's another small cluster of flowers. This one again painted with the Lindy Stamp King in Clam Baked Beige. This one was already brown and that one was already white. Some more Spellbinders leaves. Here I've got another little doily over here. And it's just a really, really pretty cluster. I love this. I love the way that it came out. Really, really pretty. And then over here on the side, before I adhered the papers, or, you know, like I used hot glue on the corners, like I said, I knew I wanted to tuck some things underneath. So here I just have like another little piece of a doily that I tucked underneath the papers. And then I just have this really pretty little bird over here in the corner, and he's really pretty. I got him on Tuesday morning a while ago. He just came in a pack of like cabochons with like little flowers and little birds. So I just have him there. Really, really pretty. And down here, oh my gosh, I love this corner as well. Look how gorgeous that looks. Oh my gosh, I love it. I had to use my vintage typewriter die. I just got this actually. I've been wanting it forever, but I was never able to find it, you know, in my local stores. And I didn't want to shell out the extra $8 for shipping on eBay. It's ridiculous. I'm a cheapo. And I lucked out, guys. I found it a Tuesday morning for $8. And it's so beautiful. I love it. I used chipboard to cut it out. And then I used the broken china crackle paint to paint it on it. And I just love working with the crackle paint. It creates these amazing, amazing cracks. Some small, some big. It just depends on how much paint you apply. Like you can see the difference. On top, the cracks are a lot bigger than at the bottom. It just looks so amazing. I love it. And that color is gorgeous. And then what I did is I just used Vintage Photo on all the edges around the chipboard just to age it a bit. It looks beautiful. And then here I wanted, you know, the little paper to come out of the typewriter, you know, like you're in the middle of typing something. And I just used one of my stamps and it says, "You're the best." This is just cardstock that I cut down to size so it could fit right in this little slot. And it's all inked with Vintage Photo, and then I rolled the top of it. So it just looks like the paper is coming out of the typewriter as, you know, you type it and it starts to roll back. So really like the way that came out. Very cute. And then again, I got some more flowers over here. Some gorgeous I Am Roses flowers. These two are I Am Roses. This one's for my stash. And then again, I used the Clam Baked Beige to color that. It's a beautiful beige color. Here again, it's just a little carnation painted with the distress stains, broken china. Here you've got some more leaves. And then this beautiful cameo. Look how gorgeous that is. It's a beautiful girl dancing. And it's so perfect for, you know, this layout. And it's by Webster's Pages, and I've had it forever. It's so beautiful. I love it. I'm glad I finally got to use it. So I tucked him in, tucked a little cameo in between some flowers. And then I've got this beautiful feather. I love feathers. They're so pretty. The feather just adds like a really soft touch, I think, to the layout. And it's kind of girly. And the way it's tucked behind the flowers, it just kind of reminds me it's next to the typewriter. Like there would be like an ink well right there, you know, like you're writing with the feather. I think that's pretty. So I've got that feather there. And then down here I have another flower for my stash, some more leaves from Spellbinders, and I believe I've already showed you this gorgeous applique. Look how beautiful that is. So pretty. And then I did some masking on the paper, and I hope you guys are able to see it. I did it before I adhered it, but there we go. Look how cool that looks. And I used the Prima Damask stencil, and it's so beautiful. I used the modeling paste, and then I went over the top of it with Vintage Photo to just give it a more distressed look. Look how gorgeous it looks. And I did the masking here on the corner. You can see some of it underneath the typewriter as well. And then I also did it on the top, and I forgot to cover that when we were up here. Here you go. You could see some of it. You know, most of it gets covered up, but you can still see some of the masking that I did with the modeling paste. See? Look how gorgeous. I love working with modeling paste and stencils. So fun. And let's see, moving on, I'm almost done. And then I think over here on the other corner of the typewriter, I just have some more little flowers and some more little leaves by Spellbinders, inked with a Vintage Photo. And, you know, I just used regular green cardstock to cut them out. Really, really pretty. I'm loving the way it came out. And over here I just added like another little piece of doily, kind of, you know, coming out from the bottom of the page. So really pretty. I'm so happy with the way that it came out. My daughter came in and she was very happy with it, and especially with the picture. She never lets me take pictures of her. She's so weird. But I forgot to mention the little bow that I added on top. Like I said, this was a very old clipboard, not in very good shape. And this part here, you know, it's all metallic, and what I did is I gessoed it, and then I painted it with the warm white paint, and then I went ahead and rubbed most of the paint off. Sorry, let me show you so you guys can see. So see, you can still see some of the metal coming out, but it kind of looks grungy, old, you know, kind of vintage. So I like that. And then I added this really pretty bow to the center that I, you know, crinkled up myself with some seam binding, and I painted it using 3 different colors of Lindy's Stamp Gang in pink. I used Plumeria pink, Pink Ladies pink, and Cotton Candy pink. And those 3 colors are so beautiful. In person you can see the different, you know, shades, I guess, because I didn't want it to be uniform. Came out really pretty. And then over here I just have a button. I cut off the shank and added it to the center of the bow. It's really pretty. It gives it a very vintage look. And that pink that I created using those 3 colors, it kind of matches the pink flowers that I used. So I'm very happy with the way that everything turned out. There you go. You guys can have another look. Sorry about that. Okay, but that's my altered clipboard. It was so fun creating it, and it's so awesome that I can find something old and ugly and turn it into something beautiful. I hope you guys like my project, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you real soon. Bye-bye.